on April 10th at 6 p.m. Before we get started, I need to amend the agenda of the meeting. Under 1 VSA section 313A3 for the appointment or evaluation of a public officer or employee, provided that the public value shall make a decision to hire or appoint a public officer or employee and in open meeting and shall explain the reasons for its decisions during the open meeting.
So moved.
Do we need a second?
Yes, yep.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving into public comments. Are there any public comments this evening?
I do not see any member of the public here electronically. Other than employees.
So we can move on to the first item, which was the amended for the appointment of the evaluation.
No, you did your previous one.
Do the
First,
first
yeah.
one first. Okay, sorry. So we'll move to action item number 2, which executive session under VSA 313D for grievances, all or other than tax grievances. No motion. All those in favor? Do I need to specify who we're bringing into this?
Yes.
We'll be bringing in Nick Cole and Jim Culkeen.
Go back to the session.
Give me the motion to go back into. So, those in favor? Yeah, motion.
To go into.
No, we need to have a motion, we have a motion, as we say it.
Sure. I move to have the superintendent respond to the union based on our discussions in executive session.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You see Wendy?
When did you vote? Yep, she gave a vote. Yes.
Okay. Right.
Thumbs up.
Is it on? This is we're now going to move into an executive session under VSA section 313A. The appointment or evaluation of a public officer or employee, provided that the public body shall make a final decision to hire or appoint a public officer or employee in an open meeting and shall explain the reasons for the final decision during the open meeting. A motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
All those in favor? Okay. We need to specify for this that we would like to keep Jim in the executive session.
And,
And Nick.
no, wait, no.
Yeah, this just,
No, just me on this one. Great, thank you.
Make a motion to come out of executive session and return to general meeting.
all in favor?
Aye.
We're back now in open meeting.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Glenn Thurber to fill the seat, the Woodford seat for the MAU board.
So,
Second.
okay, any discussion? Yes, I need to wait, right?
We'll just wait, we just need to wait.
He's done. Very good.
He's coming.
Please, okay.
When it is there, thumbs up. Thank you. You're up.
If we have a motion on the table to appoint Glenn Thurber to the Woodford position or on the board.
It's been moved in second.
It's moved in second. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Thumbs up.
Wendy, thumbs up.
Okay, all opposed, and that motion carries.
So I want to make a second motion to approve Katie Aiken for the MAU board seat for Bennington.
So
Second, okay. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Oh, hi, Wendy.
Opposed? Abstain, okay. We want to just make the statement that all candidates could provide value and needed representation on the board, and it was a tough decision. Ms. Aiken has extensive experience working with area agencies and community partners, which is why we voted to vote her on the board. Okay. We're going to move quickly through the rest of the agenda. We have the finance reports are located online, and that's under A, the treasurer report of March 2023. I actually didn't see that posted. You did? Okay. Again, it's not accident. Could you have the motion?
I had a question
Sure.
on athletic hotels for $4,466. Is that staying over on a ski meet or something?
I'm not sure.
I unmuted Renee, so I don't know if she's there and can comment.
I am here. It has been a combination of ski meets and wrestling playoff events.
Second question. What is a Bullet Belt Deluxe? Check number 79090.
Is that something that we could have Renee
Look into.
look into and then provide to the group?
The last one, we still have field hockey. Does the middle school have field hockey?
Not a school sports team.
Okay.
There's a
Still have it on there.
club and activity a club that we're running, a field hockey club.
Okay,
But it's not a, school connected sport at this time.
Any more discussion? Can I have a motion to approve the finance packet that's posted?
I guess Dave's getting his answer.
Oh, okay.
okay, thank you.
I make a motion to accept the finances.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Wendy's.
Good.
When she's got a thumbs up.
Okay. The second action item on the finance is the athletic complex upgrade. Is an action requested on that.
This is the motion. This is to allow you want to speak to what it is, and then we have a motion.
Sure. The Spinelli committee met. We're kind of restructuring how we're gonna go about everything. But we want to have the ability to fundraise so we can have some skin in the game, right? So we did need to have approved, we checked with the attorney, and it's fine that we do fundraise for the Spinelli complex. But we did need board approval for that, so that's why we're here.
You want to read?
No, I mean,
Yeah, the motion and then one of you can just make the motion. I hereby move that the board provide authority to the members of the Spinelli Committee to solicit on behalf of Mount Anthony Union Middle School, Mount Anthony Union High School, donations for physical improvement projects for the Spinelli Field Complex in conformance with the policies of the Supervisory Union School District and the federal and state law.
Second.
any discussion?
I have a discussion, just real, we wanted to be careful with the naming of the individuals or displaying the information because you have a lot of contributors to the high school and they may not be getting the recognition as what they may be getting by the committee. So we have to be cognizant of not burning our back door because of this project.
Yeah.
And
We're not-
naming people and so forth when
Yeah.
you're trying to get contributors. So we have to be, this all I want to know is
You know,
that we had that.
during the committee, it came up and we're not even addressing
Okay.
that at the moment. And we just really want to contribute to the complex some way.
And just the authority to begin
to
fundraising.
begin fundraising, yes.
And Renee is prepared to keep that in a separate account, Renee, correct? I'll unmute you and you can address that.
Renee, are you okay?
Not unmuting yourself.
It's, well, no, it's, I've never had to, like, I clicked the unmute and then I quickly, I think, muted myself again, so I apologize. Yeah, so no, we'll be setting up a separate fund. So it'll, the money, we're not gonna set up like an actual separate bank account, but it'll be an isolated fund. So it will not get commingled with general fund monies or any other monies that we have set aside for any other specific purposes. So it'll be isolated, and we'll keep track of it that way.
And I do, one other caution from our attorney that the board should be aware that it should and will be providing a warning for its March 2024 annual meeting in February of March of 2024 for approval, which would have an article, the establishment of Spinelli Field Restoration Reserve Fund. So this money can, roll over. So that would happen, and you should be aware that that would be the next step in this process. That I'm reading from SDSU Attorney Dina
You
Apple.
said 2024?
Yeah, the next annual.
Annual.
Yeah.
But I think they do votes before.
Yeah, possible.
Yeah.
But no later than.
Right, okay, yep. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Thumbs up, is that a thumbs?
Wendy's thumbs up.
Okay, great.
I'm for, not opposed.
Okay, great, thank you. We'll move on to the consent agenda. We have the minutes, warrants, retirements. I don't see any leave of absence, resignations and nominations and file. Do you want to separate this into items and vote for one, or do you want to?
On the minutes, it says nominations for spring coaching positions will be included in the agenda for the April board meeting. I didn't see that. Is that correct?
I do not, I didn't see that either.
Oh,
Our HR director here to ask him.
Is that something that we could ask?
Yeah. I've seen them come across, so I know they're going, I don't know why they don't include it here, but we can certainly send them out.
If it works for the group, we'll take a motion to accept the consent agenda,
All 6 items.
all 6 items.
So moved.
So much.
Any discussion? All in favor? Oh, Wendy's good.
These guys, yeah.
Okay, opposed, and that's it. Okay, we'll move on to the superintendent report.
Patiently waiting over here in the wings. Assistant Superintendent Laura Boudreau, Director of Curriculum Instruction Assessment, Melissa Senical, Director of Student Support Services. So, the good game. So here's the. Having it's not, if I do it, we have to do it.
Well, we have to draft it also.
Jen, are you taking this down? From the executive?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, you let me show my video.
Is that not, no.
Oh.
Security.
That's long. To share your screen.
As soon as you're done, I'll take it off.
Okay, so, okay. So, we are responsible every year to come to you and give you information about our grants that we receive. And so we are just going to provide you with a summary tonight, and we can also always come back if you'd like to know more. We have a grant team at the district level. Renee Gordon is on the screen as part of our team. Dr. Pete Abbott, Melissa Senical, myself, and then we have part of our administrative assistant team, and we all meet weekly because this is grant season. And so what you have in front of you is we're just going to give you an overview and try to focus in a little bit on NAU as we share. So as a reminder, one of the larger grants that we're facilitating right now is the ESSER grant through the Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Fund. We've had 3 allocations that have come from 3 different acts. And so ESSER 1 has already expired. So we are now working through ESSER 2. Our allocation is listed. And a couple of the investments that, and again, I just want to highlight that we had a district recovery team, as a reminder, that landed on how did we want to focus our energy as we came out of the pandemic. And so the investments reflect that group, which had community members. We did a parent survey. We had some community meetings as well, including these board meetings that also provide us with feedback. So a couple of ESSER things. Just a couple of the ESSER 2 that definitely directly are for both the middle school and the high school would be the robotics training and the materials purchased for that STEM robotics, both the professional learning and also all of the materials, including iPads and Lego kits and really great things that really are very engaging for students and teaching them all about STEM. And then the other piece I think would be really important to hit on that goes on to the next page is universal design for learning, professional learning that's happening both at the middle school and the high school from the organization called CAST. And we're in year 1 of 3 years, and a big piece of the budget for that, both paying non-contractual hours for teachers to attend and also that outside provider comes from the ESSER funds. ESSER 3 is in play until September 30th, 2024. And the investments, we continue to, because recovery goes on for periods of time, so the investments will carry over. We need to have 20% set aside to address learning loss. So we're going to continue our investments forward that were already determined by the recovery team. And we're going to add, you can see that in the underneath on page 2 with all of those ESSER 3, investments. We have a lot of things that we are, again, continuing, but the big thing that Laura's highlighting is construction. Estimated hard cost permitting and construction administration. and we are lucky to have Polly Anderson with us, so we can facilitate that work. So,
Can I ask a question, Laura?
absolutely.
This says ESSER 3 is in well, the 23rd, 9/30/23.
Well,
Shouldn't that be ESSER 2?
yes, you are correct. Thank you for that. Little typo, thank you. So ESSER 2 expires September 30th, 2023. ESSER 3 expires September 30th, 2024. So thank you for that. So after ESSER, this is, so now we're into title funding. So title funding, page 3, runs from June 30th to July 1. And so this past year's allocation for title funding was over $4 million. And Mount Anthony Middle School and Mount Anthony High School are school-wide schools. That means that they have they demonstrate enough low-income percent that their whole school can access, all their students can benefit from the money from this grant, which is great. And so we just wanted you to give you a little snapshot of how each school is using their school-wide allotment. Something that's similar between both of the schools is they access reading interventionists that can then support good first instruction. And then we have SVSU, because it's important when we pool all of our money together, we can often benefit many more. And so we've also listed a group of the SVSU title investments, such as tutoring services, where we partner with the Tutorial Center to provide support in ELA and math. This is where you'll find our coaches, district level coaches. And we also have played around with secondary math support, a flexible person that can move based on data. So that's something we're partnering with both schools and Arlington as well. And then I think two cool things in there. One, just the SVSU art teachers and the music teachers each have a title investment. The art teachers hold a family engagement activity every year. So they get access. We can compensate the teachers for organizing the event. We can get the materials to use with families. And then the music teachers are trying to increase their access to instruments so that they can also provide experiences for kids. So it's just a really creative use of this block of money.
All right, and then the next grant is the IDEA B grant, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act grant. And we have both pre-K and IDEA B. So here is specific to the MAU, MS, and HS schools. So it's about $1.5 million total allocation for this year. And we have invested in primarily direct services to children with this funding. So we have clinical services by our clinicians, speech language therapy services, physical therapy services, school psychology, occupational therapy. And then we have a part of our administrative services as well as some technology such as Learning Ally and professional development and professional learning.
So the last two bigger grants that we're going to highlight. First one with you.
So Medicaid. So Medicaid is a rolling reimbursement in investment. And what we do with our Medicaid is that we use our Medicaid dollars to prevent disabilities. So we fund things like our audiology services, our UCS counseling services across the district that any child can access if they're having a difficulty. And then board certified behavioral analyst supports that any child can access. You don't need to have an IEP or a disability in order to access Medicaid support.
And the last big grant we wanted to highlight is also another Medicaid grant, but this is through the Department of Health. And it's a really interesting grant because, again, thinking in a very preventative way, I would give an example. Our nurses and counselors will get an email that says, this is your moment in time. And if they pause and list what they're doing in that moment in time, and it meets the requirement of preventative work, then we get money for this grant. So it's this another really interesting way that we can receive funding. So we're always making sure that people are filling out their moments in time. So through this Medicaid grant, which is an annual grant, that's where we get our tooth tutors from. And there's one that sits right in the nurse's office at the middle school on Fridays. That's super helpful. And we have another one that's helping out at the high school. That's where we fund all the nurses get membership to SNAP so they can do a medical record on their computer. So we pay for that. And then we try to create wellness programs. So these are the big overarching grants that we just wanted to highlight. And then the last little piece of paper we gave to you was we tried something new this year and we did a community meeting on March 9th at the middle school where we set up stations with the grants we just covered. And we said, hey, come, give us your feedback, give us some input. And that was the intent. So we just wanted to give you a highlight of, again, what that looked like. And we reminded everybody that we want your feedback. If it's this board meeting and you have ideas, you can go to www.svsu.org. And there's a recovery button on the website where you can always bring your ideas and provide feedback. And then you can also, there's a title tab on the website as well. So we wanted to thank you. We just wanted to give you an update about some of the grants we're working on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions for them on that?
Does the late bus get a lot of use?
That's a great question because that is funded out of ESSER. There's a late bus. I don't have those numbers, but that's something we can find out.
I can bring you the numbers. What I can tell you from the coordinator, and you can jump in, is that it has been integral in making a very successful after-school help recovery plan for a group of students that I think it's gone extremely well this year. And it's kudos to the staff that are doing it. And then also, I know that some learners are using it at the high school for getting individualized extra help from teachers and then having that ability to have that bus has been really, really important. But I can get you the actual raw numbers, definitely.
Yeah, Kelly Brooks, big shout out to him. He's the recovery coordinator at the middle school. He's done a really nice job of organizing recovery sessions and been integral in setting up the bus stop. I don't have the exact numbers with me today. I think he does have them. It's getting used regularly. I can't say that. And I want to say when we're in the midst of a recovery session, anywhere around, 10 students or so from the middle school are taking advantage of that. But again, don't quote me on the exact number. We can get you a more accurate update. But it is getting used regularly. And I think that it's, it takes a while to kind of ingrain that into the fabric of the school too. So I think that over time that will increase as well. If we have the funding for the buses to continue.
Thank you. The other two things in my report on there, you have in your packet what I hope is the final draft of the 2023-2024 school calendar. We're going to release it. I have to submit it to the state. Any comments from any board members on the calendar?
I guess, does the board member, or does the board have to vote on the calendar?
No,
Past-
I just
okay,
have to-
okay, I just-
Yeah, it's with the superintendent responsibility and regionally. The only other thing two other things I have. One is, when's the last day of school? It's probably the most frequently asked question right now. What I am asking the board is to allow the last day of school. Watch the minute I ask you to set this day, we're gonna have another snowstorm, right? Vermont requires us to do 175 days. We do 180 days here. What I'm asking for is that we do less than 180 this year and end school on Friday, June 16th for all students. And I would need the board to approve that.
I'll make a motion.
I second it. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of the last day?
So anyone listening from home, it's not official yet. Tomorrow night, I'll be asking the same question at the Union Elementary Board. And Wednesday night, we'll be in Arlington. So once that is done, then we'll make the official announcement. Monday, June 19th is Juneteenth holiday, so we wouldn't be in school that day anyways. And then so Tuesday, the 20th and Tuesday, 21st, tentatively scheduled to be professional learning days. So
Just to go back, I want to make sure, did Wendy vote? Because I did not see it, right? I want to make sure that I've captured her if she's.
Wendy, she's unmuted so she could talk too. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can vote. Yep.
Okay.
I voted before.
Can we go back to the calendar question for a
Yep.
second? How many are we following the half-day schedule again?
Yes, we are. I don't think 1 year is enough of an experiment for that. And these half days, I feel are very, very important for us. One, the substitutes are still hard, if not impossible, to come by. So it's important for the preparation time that our teachers get on those half days and for time professional learning, data sharing. I could read you what, we call our elevator speech on this, but
I think my question is largely about, did we meet our obligation under the statute to coordinate with the districts around? I believe we had to coordinate with
No.
Southwest Tech.
Yeah, and Southwest Tech has questioned the calendar and has sent a letter to the Secretary of Education questioning the calendar, so mainly around the half days. But I have to get a calendar submitted for the start of school. Vacations are all in line with Southwest Tech, start of school, end of school, number of days, that's all allowed. And if, they don't place the same value on half days that we do, I don't know if we're ever going to come to complete agreement on the use of half days.
So, but we have 20 again this year? Is that, how many have?
No. I don't have the count in front of me. Yep.
All right.
It is the same amount though.
Yes,
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Actually, there's one less because the ski program starts a week later than we thought, so we were able to take that first Wednesday in January is no day.
Yes, we are. So, okay. I have one more question on this. Are we tracking feedback from teachers, so that about the implementation of this, so that we can provide is that something we could report on, so that we, at some point? Okay. Anything? All right, so.
That's it from the superintendent. Oh, well, one other thing, that's where Dave could say it, we did reach a tentative agreement with support staff negotiations last week. Not at liberty to announce the details because they have not ratified it yet, but once they ratify it, we're probably gonna have a special board meeting. Like those who've been at before, we do like a joint board meeting with everybody to go a presentation of what's in the contract. It is a 1-year contract. We'll say that. No, we're not.
Sorry, I was just questioning if we had a quorum for the policy adoption or whether we need to table
We have
that.
five.
4 or 5, table that, yep.
Mid to table that.
Okay.
I guess I didn't realize we lost a few.
Yeah, we lost two.
Okay. Yeah, you no longer have a forum. So it's become an informational meeting now.
Okay. So from this point, we're going to table the policies.
Yeah.
And move on to the administrative reports.
Yep, we just can no longer take any action because we've lost a quorum.
Good job.
High school first.
I'll go first. Quick reminder for the board, the statewide assessment, we are scheduled to take that at the high school, May 8th through the 12th. As per the tradition at the high school, for that week, there will be a 2-hour delayed schedule. So we will have students coming in to test, we'll have students coming in 2 hours later to have a school day. 9th grade takes a total of 4 testing days in both ELA and mathematics. The 11th grade takes 2 days in science. There'll be more information going out, just a reminder for the public. We talked about this in the previous meeting. We are currently posting and interviewing for a couple of anticipated positions for the next school year, including social studies and reading interventionist committees. I've met with candidates and we're kind of working through that process. And the last thing is that the spring sports season has started despite the frosty start over the weekend. I encourage folks to check out the calendar and come out and cheer for our teams. The weather should be lovely this week, so it'd be an excellent time to do that, including my favorite, I shouldn't say favorite, but the most anticipated team is the Unified Basketball Team, which has its first home basketball game this Wednesday at 3:00. Where I bought my game jersey. You're more than welcome to join us in the gym and cheer for that. Wednesday after school at 3:00. They no evening games. They stick pretty close to the right after school. That's it.
Questions? On the middle school?
All right, yeah.
One question, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're sorry.
Did the dedication happen for the rest, the wrestling, the weight room yet?
No.
No?
That is not, that is, nope, that is not what's scheduled, sorry.
But when it does get scheduled, this board has asked to be
Yeah.
made aware because some of them may want to come. So I don't know who is actually scheduling that.
What's that? Okay, so through the course of the spring, I'm gonna be coming back and reporting back to the board a bit, but I think I had mentioned in a previous meeting, I'm working to restructure the instructional teams at the middle school for next year. So, this is something that is common middle school practice after, a number of years. We've been with these specific teams for, I think it's 8 years now. So we didn't do any of that during COVID times because it takes some, a lot of settling and it's, there's a lot going on for staff during those times, but I have, moved forward with plans to restructure teams. There's really no rhyme or reason how people are configured as teams at the middle school right now. It's more just by, someone's retired, somebody's resigned, a person's hired. So I'm really looking at balancing teams and trying to create teams that, are create the best, opportunity for students and staff. So that's something that, I can report back to the board on. I have a number of positions that the board supported and the board has approved. I'm working with Nick Gull on getting some job descriptions up and posting for these positions. That's my 2 security officers. I'll be talking with Mr. Payne and probably borrowing some verbiage from job descriptions from him for those. HHB coordinator is a new position at the building level for this district, so we'll be talking with Nick about that. And makerspace teacher, I believe, is also a new position for this district. So we'll be very soon we'll be meeting up, making sure we have job descriptions, and then getting those postings up. I've been working on hiring a number of other positions that we have open in the building. I have 2 math positions. We're working with 2 candidates that we're very excited about. And so I'm hoping to, get those things finalized into the board soon. We have a science position that we're working to fill, working with a land steward candidate that should have a nomination form completed soon on. And still have a reading specialist opening that I've been connecting with Mrs. Boudreau and some of my literacy folks on. So lots of hiring coming up and currently going on. And I have a few welcome days that I think I mentioned at the last meeting. These are days where we have open houses for families of incoming students. So we have incoming 6th grade open house on May 4th. I believe these are at 6 o'clock. I didn't write that piece down, but I believe they're 6 to 7. Incoming 7th grade open house on 5/11, May 11th. And then we have some welcome days where students coming to the school get to, during the school day, take a field trip up to the middle school and kind of, work with a middle school student and see what, the day looks like at the middle school. And those are happening on May 16th, 17th, and 18th. We also have our testing, but that stuff's not nearly as exciting as all this stuff, so I'd save that for the end. But we're testing the VT-CAP test, the state assessment. We're going to be doing that the 25th of this month through the 10th of May. That's ELA science, and our 8th graders also take, ELA math, and our 8th graders also take the science assessment.
Thank you. Any questions? We'll move on to the committee reports. I would like to table this at this point because the majority of our board is not here. So we'll table that. I have no chair's report. There's an FYI, there's a budget status report, and the student enrollment report are online at sdsu.org. That's it. Can I have?
I make a motion to adjourn.
At this point. Can we
do that?
Motion?
We can't leave.
Where do we go?
It's just over.
Thank you for saying.
Cat TV is celebrating 30 years of community media. Help support Cat TV's next 30 years by becoming a member today. Your membership will help us continue covering meaningful, local content. Thank you for supporting your local community media station.